Well, hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Jiujitsu2000 here today. I'm back, and I want to read a document on my phone, something that happened this weekend on Sunday. And I want you guys to interact in the comment section down below and let me know what you think. This article comes from a website called bloodyelbow.com. I've chose this document over many others that are floating around on the internet right now about this incident. I chose this document because to me it seems to be not showing any bias one way or the other. It seems to be using the actual documentation from the event here that happened. So the title of the document is Former UFC Fighter Anthony "Rumble" Johnson Charged with Domestic Battery. Okay, so that's the document that we're looking at. And let me start reading here. It says former UFC fighter Anthony Johnson was arrested in Boca Raton, Florida this weekend and charged with domestic battery. This article was published this morning, Tuesday, May 7th, 2019 at 11:34 Eastern Daylight Time. Anthony Johnson, 35 years old, was arrested in Boca Raton, Florida on Sunday and charged with one count of battery/domestic battery, according to a criminal probable cause affidavit obtained by Bloody Elbow. Again, Bloody Elbow's the website. The affidavit states that Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office responded to a 911 call on Sunday night from an individual who claimed to be the victim of a domestic disturbance. Deputies arrived at a residence to meet with the alleged victim, who told them that her boyfriend Johnson, quote, picked her up and carried her into another room during an argument, unquote. According to the alleged victim, Johnson had come to their apartment to discuss, quote, an issue they had over the weekend, unquote. The alleged victim said they began packing Johnson's belongings when, quote, he came into the room and picked her up in a football hold and carried her into another room, unquote. The alleged victim said she was scared due to Johnson's size and, quote, martial arts experience, unquote. The alleged victim said she asked for her phone, which Johnson gave her. She then went out onto her balcony and called 911. According to the affidavit, a sheriff's deputy interviewed Johnson, who was sitting on a couch in the living room. The deputy stated that Johnson claimed he and the alleged victim were arguing about an issue they had over the weekend. Johnson said he decided to leave and began to pack his own belongings, which were in one of the bedrooms. Johnson then claimed that the alleged victim followed him into the room and continued the argument. Johnson said he asked her to leave him alone and stop talking to him. Johnson then admitted to picking the alleged victim up and moving her to another room, quote, to get her away from him, unquote. Johnson told the deputy that he was not trying to hurt the alleged victim, but he wanted her to stop arguing with him. The affidavit states that the alleged victim did not have any visible injuries. The alleged victim refused to complete a written statement. In their closing comments, the arresting deputy wrote, quote, I believe Johnson actually and intentionally touched the alleged victim against her will, which is a violation, battery/domestic battery, unquote. Johnson was arrested and transported to Palm Beach County Jail without incident. And after being charged with domestic battery, Johnson was released on condition that he appears for scheduled court hearings. This is not Johnson's first encounter with law enforcement. A records check for Johnson at Palm Beach County showed 5 traffic infractions, hope I'm saying that word right, and 2 criminal traffic charges. In neighboring Broward County, Johnson had 2 closed traffic infraction cases and 1 pending case of dating violence. The dating violence case against Johnson was filed August 23, 2018. The most recent event in that open case was a court hearing concerning a temporary injunction, which occurred on February 6th. In 2014, Bloody Elbow, again this website, reported that Johnson was subject of a restraining order from a woman who accused Johnson of striking her and knocking out 2 of her teeth. In a police report obtained by Bloody Elbow, the alleged victim stated that she and Johnson had several verbal altercations and that she received threatening calls and text messages from an unknown male. In 2009, while he was living in San Lorenzo, California, Johnson was charged with domestic violence, battery, death threats, and destroying a phone to prevent the report of a crime. Johnson pleaded no contest in 2010 and was sentenced to three years of probation, community service, and was ordered to attend domestic violence counseling. When reporting on this case, East Bay Times stated that the victim told police that Johnson pushed her around, quote, picked her up by her armpits and slammed her to the ground. He then put her in a headlock and drug her up a flight of stairs, unquote. Johnson's professional MMA career spanned between 2006 and 2017. During his career, he had 2 tenures in the UFC, the first between 2007 and 2012. His second UFC run began in 2014 and lasted up until his retirement. During that period of time, he lost twice to Daniel Cormier in fights for the UFC light heavyweight title. Now, light heavyweight is 205 pounds. Since retiring from MMA, Johnson has launched a CBD oil company and worked in a fighter relations capacity with bare knuckle fighting championships. In this weekend's police affidavit, Johnson listed his occupation as retired. Okay, so what are your thoughts on that? What's going on here? Please leave your comment down below and let me know what you think.